What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering, and every once in a while, it's good to work in some good news. In a world full of just despair, I think it's important to highlight some truly heroic humans being amazing. And this pizza driver in Indiana, here in the United States, in Indiana, 25-year-old pizza delivery driver risked his life, ran into a burning building, saved 4 kids originally, then went back in and jumped out of a second-story building or second-story window with a 1-year-old to save the 5th, and it was all caught on camera. Bystander rescues 4 kids from fire, then jumps out window to save a 5th. Nicholas Bostic rescued a girl by leaping from the second story with her tucked underneath his arm. Nicholas Bostic was on his way to get gas one night last week around midnight when he saw flames leaping from the front of a 2-story house in Lafayette, Indiana. He slammed on his brakes, turned his car around, pulled into the driveway, and then realized he'd left his phone at home a few miles away, so he couldn't dial 911. Bostic, 25 years old, jumped out of his car and tried to flag down another driver, but that person didn't stop. He wasn't sure whether anyone was home, so he ran to the back of the house and found an unlocked door, rushed inside. All he saw was smoke. I shouted, "Is anyone here? Get out, get out, get out." "The house is on fire," he said, recalling that he felt his eyes and nostrils stinging from smoke in the early morning hours. He didn't hear a response, and he was about to leave, he said. Then he saw a teenager at the top of the stairs with some younger kids. Sienna Barrett, 18, was babysitting her 3 siblings and her sister's friend while her parents were out on a date, playing darts. She had smelled smoke and was frantically trying to wake everyone up and get them out the house when Bostic burst through the back door. He hustled to get everyone outside. Then she told him the baby was missing. Bostic would soon learn she was referring to a 6-year-old, nicknamed Baby K, who was still in the house. "I ran inside. I looked under the beds and closet. I couldn't find her," he said. "But when I got to the stairs that led downstairs, I heard a faint crying. The staircase was full of smoke. The heat seemed unbearable," he said, adding that he hesitated for a moment before plunging down the stairs. "I thought, I don't want to die here," he said. But he held his breath and followed the crying in the darkness until he reached the kid and quickly scooped her up. "I rolled her up in my arms like a football, then felt my way back up the stairs. It was extremely hot and smoky. It was painful to breathe. The only light I could see was coming from a room upstairs, so I headed up there." He broke open a window with his fist, tightly wrapped the girl around his left side, and leaped 2 stories to the ground, landing on his right side so he could spare the girl from the force of his fall. Bostic had saved 5 lives in under 15 minutes. "His selflessness during this incident is inspiring," said Lieutenant Randy Scheer of the Lafayette PD. Bostic, who works for Papa John's, is bashful about praise and told Scheer that he was just an ordinary guy, he said. "What he doesn't understand is his actions were not ordinary. They were extraordinary," Scheer said. "He went down those stairs to save a little girl he thought was impossible just moments before. He knew he was risking his life. There was no way to define that. Courageous and heroic." David and Tierra Barrett had rushed home from their darts game as soon as Sienna called them that the house was burning. They arrived to find the home engulfed in flames, Baby K in an ambulance with minor injuries. Bostic was also sent by ambulance to the hospital to be treated for smoke inhalation, first-degree burns on his rear end, right ankle, and right arm. Firefighters had arrived on the scene after a neighbor called. By the time firefighters arrived, Sienna, Shaylee, all the kids were safely out of the house. They were shaken but otherwise unharmed, said David Barnett, 39. "We feel very blessed for what Nick did," Barrett said. "He's a real hero, and my daughter's a real hero for waking up the kids. I don't know what to think what might have happened if Nick hadn't shown up. I'm grateful beyond words." Barrett said he works as an assistant principal at Tecumseh Junior High in Lafayette, and he and his wife had rented their home for about 6 years. The Lafayette Fire Department is still investigating the cause, but officials say it may have started on the front porch. Maybe it was fireworks or something like that. "It's scary how fast it all spread. We lost everything," Barrett said, explaining that all the physical possessions were ruined except one. Barrett said when he returned to the home the next day, the love plaque on the family's living room wall had not been touched by the fire. It was like a sign, he said. Everything had been burned down. All that remained was love. The love shown by Nick and the community has been great. A teacher at the school who was on vacation offered her house for the family to use until they can find a new place. Barrett said all the residents of Lafayette rallied to schedule a bowling tournament, a band festival, and a silent auction to raise money for his family to replace their belongings. Valerie Holdman also set up a Facebook fundraiser for Bostic to pay for his 3-day hospital stay and other medical bills. Her niece was on a sleepover at the house that day. More than $30,000 have been donated so far. I get chills when I think about what could have happened. A couple more minutes and they might not have made it. Helping with Nick's medical bills is the least we could do. When I met Nick, I cried for what must have been 5 minutes, said the kid's grandmother, Faith Holdman. He is truly our hero. Bostic said he appreciates the family and the help from the community. The last thing on my mind was the medical bills, but yeah, the hospital is going to be expensive, he said. I'm really grateful that everyone has been so kind and giving. More than anything, I'm grateful that the kids are still here. Here he is, out of the hospital with all the kids that he saved. On July 17th, he met the family formally for the first time after David Barrett invited them to attend church services with them, Bostic said. It was a nervous moment and also tear-jerking, Bostic said. I was just trying to do what was right that night to know they'd all be okay. I just wanted to cry. David Barrett said he feels the same way. Nick is far more than a friend does. He's now officially part of our family. And when you see the footage, the body cam footage, it's absolutely incredible. In this moment, now I won't play the entire thing because, well, here you have officers showing up.
Somebody pulled in to let him know their house is on fire. I saw him around back. That's the last time I seen him. Okay.
Hey guys, 6-year-old girl and a 22-year-old male in the house somewhere.
What do you got?
6-year-old female and a 22-year-old male possibly inside.
Guys, come here, come here.
It's absolutely crazy.
Are you Zavion?
That's everybody.
Sit out. Need medic.
Guy just collapsed. He says, that's everybody.
Come with me, man. Come with me. Come with me. We gotta get away from the house. Hey, we gotta get away from the house, okay?
Okay, baby. You're okay.
He must have cut his arm pretty bad.
Is the baby okay?
That's the first he says, is the baby okay?
Please tell me that baby's okay. Yeah, we're good. Yeah, she's okay. 100%? Yep, you're okay. You did good, dude. Okay?
What an absolute Chad. What an absolute Chad. And oh, by the way, you know, I would be remiss if I didn't mention this was, you know, just a dude doing good things. The media may point out that this is a white man who went into a home full of black people. He obviously didn't know that at the time. He didn't know who was in there. And he went and saved him. Like, absolute hero. And I checked in on his GoFundMe. Normally, I would never promote a GoFundMe, especially given what their site is. And there's also a Facebook fundraiser for him, which I think is probably better. But I would say he's doing just fine. Yeah, he's got more than $250,000 raised. I assume that will more than cover his medical bills. And somebody here donated 10 grand. Excuse me. My name is Richard. I'm looking for donations for my cousin, Nick Bostic. He ran into a house fire, saved 4 kids. This kid is the real deal. Sadly, he has some serious injuries. Looks like he's intubated there and will need some help during his recovery. There's also a Facebook fundraiser for him, but I'm hoping to reach a larger audience if you can donate here. And then talk to Nick, and it seems to be feeling better in good spirits. The amount of support and donations beyond anything you could have hoped for. Just a good story, right? Just a good story, good person. Seems like the community is going to rally around the family that lost everything. The larger community around, you know, the world is rallying around Nick. An absolute Chad. Hopefully there's enough money left over. He can maybe move on and find something. You know, I don't know. It's just good. Leave a like for Nick. If you want me to, put in more, positive stories, I'll try to. In general, they don't do as good because, people just like myself like to consume doom and gloom. But this, I thought, was a special case for an absolute Chad. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.